Somewhere along my teaching career, someone told me, Marielle, you have to have classroom jobs assigned to each student, and you have to rotate them, and you have to change them every day, or you have to change them every week. And, you have to have like 32 different jobs. And I'd like to just say, whoever told me that, I hope you get assigned cafeteria duty for the entire week. Hello, my Time Crunch teachers, and welcome to the show. This is your team teacher, Marielle DeRosier, here to help you optimize your teaching, technology, and time management. And today we are talking about what I do instead of classroom jobs and how my life is so much easier because of it. So, all joking aside, there's nothing inherently wrong with assigning classroom jobs to all the students. I think in a lot of cases, it can teach responsibility. It can get all of the little classroom tasks done that need to be done that a teacher doesn't have to do, like passing out papers, sharpening pencils, or whatever. But personally, I have found that it is so time consuming. First of all, to figure out all the jobs, I have 32 students, or I had 32 students in my 5th grade class this last year. And even if I double up on the jobs, that's at least 15 or 16 different jobs that I have to come up with. And when I did do this, because I thought you had to do it, I always found that there is at least like 6 jobs that just kind of sucked. Like no one wanted to do them, or the job was just never used, or the kid didn't really have to do anything the entire week because it wasn't like a high frequency job. So I found it really time consuming to think of all the jobs. And yes, I know there's little templates or things you can buy that have it, but I just can't justify the spending money on that. The other thing is it always takes forever to make a huge job chart or something that you rotate. Like most teachers, I think, use a pocket chart and they have the names on cards and they rotate it through, or maybe they have a digital version of it that they display. And then I found that I spent a tremendous amount of time training everyone on those 10 or 15 different jobs. And each week there would be new kids in those jobs. And I thought, I'll just have the prior week's kids train the new kids, but then they get confused because now they have a different job. So I just found it really time consuming and not worth the effort. And at the time I had this thing where like at the end of the day, it was like 10 or 15 minutes where it's cleanup and everybody does their jobs. But again, there was always a few jobs that didn't need to be done every day at the end of the day. And so those kids would just have nothing to do. And I felt like it was just a tremendous waste of time. And I could never remember who had which job from week to week. So maybe there's a paper passer and I'd go to pass out papers and I'd have to go over the board and look who it was or whatever. It just wasn't worth it for me. I also believe that most of the classroom jobs that people create as like individual student jobs, everyone should be doing. So in my class, everyone cleans up. They clean up after themselves. They help clean up after their group. I don't really agree with students having to clean up after another kid, especially having to clean up for other kids for an entire week. I feel like if a student took out materials or used craft supplies or whatever, had out games, then they need to put it away. And so I don't have those as class jobs. Everybody does that. Everybody cleans up after themselves. Everybody helps put things away or tidy up the classroom at the end of the day. So I don't have those. Now, with all that said, I know I just spent the whole beginning of this episode complaining about classroom jobs. By all means, if you have classroom job system that works for you and you enjoy it, don't change a thing. Don't let cranky Miss D convince you that you don't have a good idea. If it works for you, then keep doing it. And if the kids enjoy it and you enjoy it, then that is a system that I think you should continue. Personally, it doesn't work for me. I have not found a system that works with my teaching style, or maybe I just haven't bought into it. And I just find it too time consuming for this time crunch teacher. I just don't have time for it. So let's talk about what I do instead. Instead, I have the star student, and you can call this whatever you want, but what I love about this is how simple it is. So you pretty much just have different cards with each card has a different student name on it, and I'll link a template. I have a very simple template that has stars on it. You can call it whatever you want. I like the alliteration of star student, but you can call it whatever special name you want that it sounds, exciting for the kids. So I have cards that have each student's name on it, and I laminate it and I hole punch them and I just put a ring through it. So every day there's a different kid's name on the front, and every morning, maybe when I'm taking attendance or the kids are first kind of come in and seated and we're starting a day, the kids, they did this. I don't they came up with this. They do a little drum roll and then I say today's star student is, and I literally am just flipping over to the next kid. It's not shuffling. It's not random. I did shuffle it the very first time just so the kids were not in alphabetical order, but basically it's a ring full of all the kids' names and I just flip it to the next kid and the kids get excited to see who the star student is. So here's what the star student does. The star student does whatever task I need them to do for that day. They are the star student just for that day. And if I need to pass out papers, the star student passes it out, or deliver messages, or kids love reading the lunch menu. I'm going into my 19th or 20th year teaching. And I remember when I first started teaching, kids did not care about the lunch menu. And they didn't care if I read it. They didn't care if somebody else. But something about the last 3 years, kids love hearing the lunch menu. So the star student will read the lunch menu or help do the lunch count. If I'm collecting homework or assignments, star student will walk around and go get it. Now, that might sound not very star-like or very fun, but here's where the motivation comes from. The fun part is that in my class, the star student also gets special privileges. So they get to sit in our classroom library, which has these cute little bistro seating, table and chairs, or they get to sit in our cozy corner, which has fun little pillows, and it's just cute. The kids sitting over there. And not only do they get to do that, they get to do that with a partner of their choice. So they basically get to choose who they sit with. They're not there the whole day, but when they're doing partner work or independent work, they get to have priority seating. They also get to choose the music we play during cleanup time. And you can just come up with whatever special privilege you have in your class for the star student, that they get it for that day. And it really is just that day. With younger kids, maybe they want to be line leader or something like that. And strangely enough, this year, my star students loved taking out the recycling. I don't know why. They're literally just taking a small little bin out to the bigger blue recycling bin and dumping the papers in. But my kids loved it. So star student got to do that. And you choose a new star student every day. And what I love about this is how it doesn't involve work on my part. Sure, I had to type up the name cards with me of the year, but after that, it's done for an entire year. I also have gotten feedback from all my subs, people have come in who subbed for me, and they love it. They don't have to figure out who's supposed to help them. They don't have to figure out who's passing out the paper. All I write at the beginning of my sub plans is choose the star student for the day. The students will tell you how, and the star student will be your helper. And that's it. And you really kind of only need to teach the first kid. I teach fifth grade, so they pick up on all the jobs and everything very quickly, but you really only have to teach the first, one or two kids, and then they can kind of help going on. But once every kid has been the star student, which is, it takes maybe a month and a half to get through all the names, they know what to do. It's not that hard. It's not that big of a deal, especially since I'm spending the first 2 weeks teaching routines and procedures to everybody. It's not like the star student is constantly doing stuff. They're kind of just doing the little teacher helper things. They're not cleaning up or doing the bigger things like organizing the classroom library or whatever. All my students do that at the end of the day. So the star student doesn't really need any training. There's also no record keeping. You just flip the card to the next student on the ring. And if the kid's absent, then just go to the next student. And because my students like being star student, if a kid's absent, I'll actually reshuffle that card back into the deck later on. But you could also just skip them. And since each kid is only the star student every month and a half ish, depending on how big your class is, they're super pumped when they get it, and they're happy to help. And if you need more helpers for something, like you need 2 or 3 kids for something, I just ask. I have the best students. My students are amazing. And I literally just have to say, I don't even get that far in the sentence. I just start saying, can I get, a helper or volunteer? And as soon as I get the all the hands shoot up. Everyone wants to help or volunteer or go on a little adventure delivering some note to some teacher. So I have found that if I need extra kids, it's not a problem. I have also never had a kid forget that they were star student. Like as soon as it's announced first thing in the day, all I have to do is, hold up the stack of papers that need to be handed out, and a star student hops up and they get right to it. It's kind of cute. Even the other students will remind them. Like, for example, I'll say, okay, I need you to turn in your homework. And I'll have 3 kids be like, star student. Like they'll just yell it out for whoever it is to hop up and go get it. But again, super easy. I will link the templates that I've created for the star student sign. I have just a little, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that says today's star student. And I put it on my whiteboard at the front of the class. And then I have all those star student names on different cards with a ring. And I just have a magnetic hook that I put it on. And so I will link the sign and the blank name cards in the show notes. It's completely free. It's totally editable. You can type in your students' names however you want. I choose to print it out and laminate it and hole punch it and then put it on the ring. And at the end of the year, I give the kids' card to them. Sorry, I'm laughing because I didn't think any kids want it, but at the end of the year, I was like cleaning up and they're like, can we have our star student card? And I'm like, sure. So you can hand them out at the end of the year. I will also link a video of my classroom setup tour, and I'll try and time stamp it to show you what it actually looks like in my classroom. But it's pretty self-explanatory. And like I said, you can jazz this up however you want. You could even, create some digital template if you wanted. I will caution against not having the names chosen randomly, meaning I like setting it in an order. It might get a little out of order if a kid is absent, but I don't like doing it randomly because like the same kid might come up through 2 or 3 days in a row, and it's just easier to just flip to the next kid. And because they only do it every month or month and a half, depending on bigger classes, they actually don't remember who they're before or after. So it really is a surprise for most of the kids. I mean, they know, okay, my name might be pulled in the next week or so, but they have no clue that they're next just because it takes so long to get through everybody. So that's that. Hopefully the star student will make your life much easier in terms of classroom jobs. Thank you so much for your kind attention today. Until next time, teachers. Bye for now.